Hello, everyone. Thanks for all your work on creating our rubric for our podcast. So, today, as you get ready to create your script, obviously you have your script, feature script graphic organizer. First piece that you want to do is put your research question in here. So, it's that constant reminder of what your podcast should be addressing. So, I'm just going to go back to my document, and right here, I'm going to copy my research question. And I'm going to paste it in right here. Why don't you pause the video for a second and take care of that? Now that you have your research in, it is time to obviously write your script. But before you write your script, I would really encourage you to take some time to go back over your research. If you come back to your research, and this is my model research for you, I would encourage you to go through and highlight the key things that you really want to make sure you talk about in your podcast. So I'm just going to model that for you, and then you guys can probably be on your way. So when I'm looking at my research, I am just doing some quick scans through both my quoted information and then my summarized information. And again, I'm going to highlight the pieces that I think are really important to somehow weave into my podcast. So my question is all about what impact did Bent's Fort have on the West. So I need to be really making sure that I highlight things that are connected to impact. So I think this part right here is really important because it's connecting to the idea of impact in the sense that the fort was a major settlement on the Santa Fe Trail, but it was also connecting people along the Santa Fe Trail. When I look at what I learned from my sources, this right here is really important to me. I want to highlight all of this whole section that I summarized because it's telling exactly the purpose of what the fort did and the purpose of why it had an impact. Likewise, here, as I'm rereading this section, it's also like this point of commercial, social, military, and cultural contact. I want to lift that up as well in my research. I think those are important pieces that I need to pull together. When I look at my second source, I think I do want to make sure I communicate about the geography of Bent's Fort. I think that's going to be a good visual for my audience. Like, I need to lift that up and kind of get them in their brain thinking about where Bent's Fort is. When I'm also looking about, okay, impact of Bent's Fort. Okay, shaping the destiny of the area, but why? Okay, right here. It's in the heart of the Indian country, buffalo hunting, cross routes, trade routes. It's a rendezvous point for traders and Indians. It was a way station for caravan. I think this whole thing actually right here needs to be communicated in my podcast. And then my last quote here, I think I'm not sure about that. It just talks more about William Bent and how he kept peaceful relations, but I'm not sure if that's something I want yet. But I can always come back to my research. Now, this last piece that I have here was about the construction of the fort. And actually, I'm just going to highlight this for a second and I'm going to make a note. I just had this idea as I was thinking here. I think I'm going to make a comment that this might be good for my intro monologue because I can add description and get my audience thinking, oh, sorry, I can't spell today. Thinking about, wow, sorry guys. Thinking about and forming a mental image. Excuse me, let me move my face. A mental image of the fort in their head. So that I think I'm gonna just highlight a little bit differently because I think it has potential, but I'm not sure yet. I need to use it, but I'm not sure yet how I'm going to weave that in. But this gives me like that thought process of, hey, this could be like part of that intro monologue. Just going to come back here. Yeah, intro monologue. I think that might be kind of a cool way to weave that in. All right, I'm going to come down here to my last piece of information. Again, what impact did Bent's Fort have? Well, here's some good information. Bent's Fort mixed the influence of the West, Canadians, all of this is that it's like a cultural medley. I like that idea, cultural medley. Actually, I'm going to highlight this in a different color because I like that word, cultural medley. That helps me really think that through a little bit more. And then my last summarization here. It's basically saying some of the same things that I said above. So I don't know that I need to highlight anything here. It's definitely going to be a place to come back and refer to. So now that I have highlighted these pieces, this just gives me like that idea in my head of key things that I want to make sure I put into my research and to make sure I write into my script. So then the next step is to write the script, and I'll create another video for you guys on that and how I start my process to hopefully guide you. But for now, go ahead and take some time and highlight through that research document and lift up those things that you really want to make sure you communicate in your podcast.